वहाँ सूरज है वहाँ चाँद है ओ भगवान वही हमारा प्रेम वहाँ सूरज है वहाँ चाँद है ओ भगवान वही हमारा प्रेम.
His name is Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh. He's declared himself an enlightened master, and he's the founder of what even he calls the religionless religion of Rajneeshism. Because he's promised these disciples a spiritual utopia, hundreds of thousands of them have willingly given up their lives to become submissive servants to the man they call Master. Even as one self-proclaimed god passed into history in Guyana, another was stepping forward to take his place in India. Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh, called the disco sex guru by the Indian press, held Jim Jones blameless for the deaths of his followers. Those who were really responsible, he said, were the organized religions, including Christianity. Christians have always come in for special attention from Rajneesh.
The Christian church has destroyed all intellectual freedom in the West. It is not an accident that fascism, Nazism, communism, all three dangerous dictatorial trends of this century are outcomes of Christianity.
Rajneesh is anti-Christian, he says, but not anti-Jesus. He explains the apparent contradiction.
When you call Jesus, really you have called me. When you call me, really you have called Jesus.
While most Christians would find such a claim outrageous and offensive, the Guru's devotees, called sannyasins, probably found it reassuring.
Typical candidate.
Eckhard Flüter, a former sannyasin from Germany, explains why.
I believe some seek some kind of a spirituality which can be experienced and not just thought of. Some are in a crisis, some are in a process of growing, some have authority conflicts.
Often dissatisfied with their own lives and seeking a more meaningful spiritual experience, thousands of affluent Westerners traveled to India to see if God was really living there. Many stayed on to become sannyasins. Another ex-sannyasin, American Rosalind Smith, tells what she observed.
There are multiple reasons why people are attracted to Rajneesh. I met many people who were going through their midlife crisis, who felt a disillusionment with their work. They sought a new ideal, a new sense of fulfillment.
Dr. John Wally, a successful Midwestern physician, was one of these.
I was a workaholic. I made a lot of money. I had my my share of fame and recognition, and it seemed like the more I got, the less satisfying it was.
While many came seeking to fill a spiritual vacuum in their lives, many others came because they'd heard that Rajneesh encouraged unrestricted sex as a path to spiritual enlightenment.
The attraction for sex is attraction for God.
People are encouraged to have sex with everybody in the group, even male with male, female with female, and especially with those people you don't like at all.
If self-indulgent promiscuity could be rationalized as a search for God, it still had unhappy side effects.
People have been sexually and physically abused. I have seen that a girl was raped. I have seen people who had to get sterilized. I have seen people who had to have an abortion because they were pregnant.
Despite abortions, sterilizations, and rampant venereal disease, new sannyasins were pushed on through intense physical and emotional experiences in rapid-fire order. Rajneesh called it therapy. Many of the so-called therapy groups were nothing more than uncontrolled experiments.
he drew the major portion of the professionals in Pune, India, from the mental health profession: psychiatrists, psychologists, psychiatric social workers, people who were very interested in his experimentations with psychotherapies.
I don't know what to do. It doesn't happen that when he came to me, I just go like...
You do it, Arthur. You do it. It doesn't happen. You do it. Look at him. What do you say to me?
In the Pune workshops, what was labeled psychotherapy appeared to be nothing more than carefully manipulated sadism. In locked and sound-deadened rooms, the group leaders prodded bruised and bleeding sannyasins to vent the accumulated rage of a lifetime.
In workshops, everything was encouraged beside murder. I have watched people breaking their ribs. I have seen broken arms. I have seen broken legs. People died in workshops. A lot of people ended up in mental hospitals after this kind of workshops. Some personal acquaintances of mine even committed suicide.
What happened is these people would go through these groups in the name of releasing emotion to facilitate their growth. And they would be hooked by Rajneesh's belief system at their most vulnerable moment.
I can help you only if I destroy you. If I destroy your past, your knowledge, your ideas, your conditionings, your personality. Only by destroying you, I can give you a new birth.
His word is absolute. Potentially, this is very dangerous. Their morality is undermined. They will do as they're told to do. They no longer have their own individual conscience.
Ow! Ow! Ow!
I have seen people becoming apathetic, insane, committed suicide, people that I knew very closely. I have dealt with a number of people who have tried to come back to real life, but they could not.
This is the diary of a mind gone mad in pursuit of the Rajneesh path to enlightenment. A tormented story of mental degeneration. It ended in a tragic suicide.
Some people who were dying in workshops or shortly after workshops, they were all cremated afterwards without any investigation, so that no record is available for the public.
Those who managed to survive the process seem to exist in a state of euphoria, a mental land of Oz presided over by a beneficent wizard.
He has, through his therapy and through the meditations, found a way to make his followers dependent on him on a psychological level. So the power he has over people is a deep psychic dependency.
Rajneesh says his goal is to create a new man, one who is happily mindless.
Come to.